Hey, I'm Afko, and I'm the creator of Afroism as well as Black Vegans Rock.
Hi, my name is Kraut, and I had a bacon sandwich for breakfast. And my uncle taught me how to slaughter pigs when I was 14 years old.
On our website, we're asked a lot of different questions. And one of the most common questions that we're asked is, what does animal oppression have to do with our anti-racist movements?
Let me answer that. Fuck all, and animals are not oppressed.
And it's normally asked by a lot of Black people who don't necessarily get how animal rights functions into what they're experiencing every day of their lives.
Okay. Imagine you live in fucking Detroit. You're unemployed, you're poor, your fucking brother or son or whatever is in prison for a minor drug offense. And then you come along and go like, hey, you know what? I know you've got some fucking problems, but fuck those problems, you know? You know what really matters? Animal oppression. You shouldn't be eating any fucking bacon. Yeah, they're going to take you really fucking serious, aren't they?
And keep in mind that when I answer this question, you can literally apply the framework for my answer to any marginalized group currently fighting for rights that also doesn't know how animal oppression factors into their own oppression.
If you gain weight from too much chow, I will never call you a cow. I respect you and cows.
Don't use cow as an insult.
If you eat every single fig, I will never call you a pig. I respect you and pigs.
Don't use pig as an insult. Animals are innocent. Don't be speciesist. Never use the name of an animal as an insult for a human. Animals are innocent. Don't be speciesist. Never use the name of an animal as an insult for a human.
So the goal of this video is to briefly introduce you to a new way of thinking about animal oppression, and to introduce you to an often ignored layer of Black oppression which is steeped in the division between the human and the animal.
Okay, did you just compare black people with animals? Oh, fucking hell. Oh, fuck. You lack all self-awareness, don't you?
All too often, white-centered animal rights campaigns or vegan campaigns are thought of as the only or dominant way of doing things.
Hey, let me tell you something. You know, in terms of animal liberation movements, you know, I don't really care if you're black or white. You're just assholes.
And I'm here to offer a new perspective. So for this specific video, I'm not going to be talking about health, diet, or food deserts. Because number one, I think that conversation is pretty mainstream. A lot of people are pretty fluent in it.
I'm a chain-smoking German who won't say no to a couple of dubious Eastern European pills at a Czech tech party or at another Judas Priest concert. Did it ever fucking occur to you that people who constantly have to talk about health, how healthy they are, and what other fucking health tips they have for you and whoever else are just really fucking annoying?
And number two, I think really important theoretical connections are lost when we only frame veganism in terms of our health and not intersectional oppression or intersectional liberation. Also, I think it's really easy to depoliticize veganism when it's only framed in terms of our health as well.
Gotcha, bitch!
And there we have it. You know, you can fuck cats in your home for all that I care, but you people always have to push your fucking useless, stupid agendas on everyone else. And having a political agenda on something like food, that's just pure fucking nonsense. If you have an opinion on my eating habits, how about you keep them to yourself?
You see, white supremacy is a really, really smart system.
Nope. Hey, you have a different skin color than me, so I'm going to treat you like shit. That's not really smart, that's just really dumb.
Because it's convinced us that oppressions on other bodies that look really, really different from our own have absolutely nothing to do with our own oppression.
What? Animals are not people.
However, that's a myth. White supremacy has also told Black people that we have absolutely no reason to be dealing with animal rights, when in reality, Black people have been animal rights activists and vegans for a really, really long time.
Yeah, because white people taught black people to eat meat. Yeah, black people, they never ate meat before. Look at this fake cave painting from Drakensberg in South Africa. That's totally fake. That stuff, yeah, that was faked by white people.
In fact, even in the 70s and the 80s, there was a black liberation group called MOVE.
Okay, I see what this is. Okay, let me explain this to you. There are places in this world that are not America, you know? And black people also live in these places, you know, places like Africa or Europe, like France, and even here where I live, okay?
And they fought for animal rights, and they were actually vegan. So we do have a right to be in this conversation.
Nobody is denying your right to be in that conversation. It's just a really stupid conversation.
In this video, I'm arguing that if we don't side with the animals as black people, then we're siding with white supremacy, a system that essentially feeds itself off of anti-blackness.
You're either with us or you're with the enemy. That's clear. I will continue to make that clear.
A lot of scholars and activists like me and still argue that the term animal doesn't only just refer to squirrels, pigs, and elephants, or whatever the popular idea is of what an animal is. In fact, we argue that animal is essentially a socially constructed category.
Nope, it's a scientific category, and you happen to share it with me. But what separates you and me from, say, a cockroach is the category of species, okay?
That's created to objectify certain bodies so that their violations and abuses are seen as normal and justified.
Allow me to let me use you to show yourself why you are wrong.
Not realizing that all of this is anchored to the human-animal divide. Human-animal divide. Human-animal divide. Human-animal divide. Okay, so what does that mean exactly, right? One way that white people justified the enslavement and brutal torture of black people was by trying to show how black people were actually animal and how white people were human and superior.
Okay, first off, every civilization kept slave. Some justified it by saying that God wills them to have slaves. I believe the only civilization that didn't keep slaves were the Persians.
Physicians back in the 1800s and before, they created really intense fictional narratives and reports that said black people couldn't feel pain to justify horrible medical experiments, oftentimes without anesthesia.
Okay, our history books are filled with pages of pseudoscientific bullshit. Did you know that back in the era of eugenics, the British scientific establishment thought there was something that was the Cockney race? Yeah, and it happened to be inferior. Well,
Now, the irony of all of what I'm talking about right now is that black people today, well-intentioned black people, actually subscribe to this line of thinking that says humans are superior and animals are inferior, which is kind of ironic given the racialized context of this division. Human-animal divide, where white people are the ideal human beings and non-white others are viewed as subhuman or animal. My proof for this is that anything labeled white or anything that comes out of white history is labeled human, classical, intelligent, beautiful, scientific, artistic, and anything that comes out of non-white culture is viewed as barbaric, exotic, ugly, animalistic. The list goes on and on and on, and we all really know this.
oh fuck you and fuck your projection. Just because you don't know anything about culture doesn't mean that I don't. I enjoy my Chinese tea. And have you ever heard of Ethiopian culture, the Ethiopian Empire, the Ethiopian Emperor, Ethiopian art and culture, and the magnificent Ethiopian architecture? For someone who likes to give grand lectures on history, you sure know little history.
Sill writes, quote, "When we refer to a person or a group as animalistic, we're not really saying they bear some strong resemblance to non-Homo sapiens. What we are saying is that they don't behave or look or believe properly, where what is proper is defined by Eurocentric white ideals. In other words, they deviate from whiteness," unquote.
And from where exactly did you quote that? Some weirdish cultural Marxist publication?
And this is usually the point where the conversation ends with Black people and animals. We say we're offended and we don't want to go any further. We distance ourselves as much as we can from animals. I would argue that we shouldn't trust white supremacy's opinions on any other marginalized group on this planet, because chances are they have a vested interest in that group being inferior for some reason.
Hitler's dog disagrees.
Each time Black people scream about how human they are, they're buying into a white logic and essentially saying, no, I'm not like an animal, I'm like you white people.
So, you're saying that black people should behave like animals? What?
And I would urge you to read Sill's latest article on Afroism that talks about the ways in which Black people need to reclaim the animal.
What did you just say?
And I would urge you to read Sill's latest article on Afroism that talks about the ways in which Black people need to reclaim the animal.
So you think that black people should call themselves animals?
Animal is the greatest rhetorical and categorical weapon that white supremacy has. It can easily violate you just by labeling you an animal, even if you're a Homo sapien.
Words are not weapons and they don't violate anyone.
We can't just attack expressions of white supremacy like police violence and mass incarceration. We have to attack the framework that justifies white superiority and the inferiority of everyone else, which is largely hinged upon who is human and who is animal. We can't use a hierarchy created by white supremacy and patriarchy for our own liberation. The human-animal binary has been used by systems of domination to violate any beings that fall outside of the imagined or ideal human body.
Okay, I'm sorry, but this is getting too dumb. I'm going to let a far more amusing vegan summarize her position for you.
According to many people, I am a fucking weirdo, yes. According to many